Hi, my name is Steve from TIS. Today we're going to be doing a product technical demonstration with our PVCHECKS Pro Plus, our solar commissioning tester. We get a lot of phone calls on how to use the tester, so instead of going through instruction booklets, we thought we'd put a sectional video together of various stages of using the PVCHECKS Pro Plus so you can get the very best out of this brilliant solar commissioning tester. Welcome back to the technical demonstration of the PVCHECKS Pro Plus. So this is section 1, and section 1 is probably one of the most important sections in this technical demo using the PVCHECKS Pro Plus, and that's making sure that the PV module database spec sheet is entered into the tester and we get every parameter absolutely spot on. If you don't, further down the line when we come to testing, basically it'll fail the test, and then you'll be ringing us and asking us what the issue is. And a lot of phone calls we get is because people have not put the correct information into the database. So you'll see that I've got my panel data sheet. I've highlighted the part number of our Longi panel, and I've highlighted all the information that I need to put into the tester. So I go to the tester and I go down to DB PV module database. If I wanted to enter a new panel that's not in the tester, I would go to default, I would click on new, and I would fill in all the questions that it's going to ask me, the first one being the manufacturer's name. Here's one that I prepared earlier. So you can see I've got the Longi in there, and I've got a few panel types in there. The panel type I want is the LR554HTB430M. And what I can do is I can go down to edit. So the manufacturer's name I've already done, which is Longi. The part number of the panel is already in as well. And you can see now it's asking me if it's a monofacial or is it a bifacial panel. And you'll see more specifications come up under bifacial. Well, my panel's a monofacial panel. You'll see the first one is VOC, and it's set at 39.43. And again, if you look at my spec sheet, the open circuit voltage VOC is 39.43. If I wanted to change that, I simply go to the right or go to the left and it'll move up or move down, but I'll set mine at 39.43. So you go down each individual section, left and right, to get the right parameter in. I must say that when you get to your TMPs at the bottom, there is pluses and there is minuses, and people make mistakes where it should be a minus and they enter it as a plus. So you can see again down there, a TMPs, ISC and VOC, that top one's a plus, but the bottom two are minuses. And you can see I've got that set at minus 0.23. So once you've entered all that information into the tester, you simply push the button and the data is saved. And I can then see that my panel is there. And you can see I've got a few Longi ones in, but that's the one that I'm going to be using to do the test. And that is such an important part of the procedure in this section 1, is making sure that every one of them values to your data sheet is spot on. Hi, and welcome to section 2 of our technical product demonstration using our PVCHECKS Pro. And we're going to talk about now pairing the transmitter, our Solar 03, and Bluetoothing it to our PVCHECKS Pro. So what we need to do is we need to turn on our Solar 03 and simply press the menu button, and we need to scroll down to pairing, enter it, and that now goes into pairing mode. What we need to do then is go to our PVCHECKS Pro Plus into the remote unit, and at the bottom there it says find. We click find and we wait for them to both start talking to each other. So it's detected the Solar 03. It actually gives the serial number, which is on the back of the Solar 03, so we know it's the right one. We enter. It says wait confirmation from the Solar 03. Enter, and that now says the remote unit has now been connected. So we know now that these two are now talking to each other. You'll notice we've got 4 ports on the bottom, input ports of the bottom of the Solar 03. The first one is that you get one reference cell which you plug in to port 1. That's for monofacial panels. You'll notice there's an output 2 and an output 3. So if you were testing bifacial panels, you would have 2 more reference cells in these 2 ports, and basically they would sit at the back of the bifacial panel, and then you would have 1 reference cell on the front of the panel. The 4th port, input port there, is for the PT305, and that is our temperature probe. So that would sit on the actual panel and measure the temperatures of the output of them panels are giving. So that's what the input ports at the bottom of the Solar 03 transmitter are for. And as you can see, there's your reference cell. So the reference cell would sit at the angle of the actual installation of the panels, and that would transmit the irradiance values to the Solar 03, which would then Bluetooth to the PVCHECKS Pro Plus. So you're getting accurate irradiance values. We're in section 3, so we've already shown you that the Solar 03, when it's in range, and obviously you can connect it up, but there might be installations where the Solar 03 and the reference cell are out of range. So there's actual recording facility on the Solar 03 and reference cell, so we're going to show you how to use that feature. So we go into the remote unit. You can see that it's connected to my Solar 03. I go across to start. I press start. You can see now that it's gone into recording mode, and what we're going to do now is we're going to walk away with the Solar 03 and reference cell so it's not connected. So you'll see on the Solar 03 it's recording as well. So we're going to take that now out of range. You can see now it says that the remote unit is now not connected, but the Solar 03 is now still recording those irradiance levels. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to stop. You can see it's still not connected. We go into the IVCK test, so we're going to perform the test. We press go. Everything's okay. What we do then is we save the result, so we're going to call that measurement 4, and then we're going to save it. So that data is saved. We're now going to bring back the remote unit so it connects. You can see we're still in recording mode. Just to make sure the remote unit is connected. So it's connected back up. Sync completed, so that's now transferred that information for the test results that we just did. To see that measurement, we go to data saved, and we can see there that it's transferred the test results still of the Solar 03 when it's not connected and it's some distance away. So you can see the IVCK measurement, and if you want to prove that it actually picked up the irradiance levels, so there's the irradiance levels, 1043 watts per metre squared at 31.1 degrees, even though we were out of range. Welcome to section 4 of our technical demonstration using our PVCHECKS Pro. What we're going to do now is, obviously we've put our panel data in, we're actually going to go into the setup of the IVCK before we do the test. So you see at the bottom there it says 500 volt. All we do is we press the up button and it actually goes into the settings of our installation. So first one says number of modules. So on our training rig, we've got 6. Number of strings in the pair, we've got 1. We leave that, so 5% tolerance, 15% tolerance, and then it goes on to the insulation test. Now I haven't got optimizers on our training rig, so we could test at 500 volts. Again, we get asked how to turn it off if there are optimizers on the system. So we scroll down and you can see there it's off. So it's just after 250. If we go back down, off. So actually now when we do the IVCK test, it'll actually emit the insulation test and it will not conduct it. As you know, optimizers don't like insulation tests. So once you've set all that up, which I've done, press save, and basically you've done all the settings of the IVCK test and you're ready to now connect up. So this is section 5, and this basically goes through the lead configuration before you do the IVCK test. So the first lead that I'm going to show you is the blue lead. So the blue lead is if you've earth bonded your rails that your panels sit on, you would put the blue lead into C, and then you can see underneath there that I've connected the crocodile clip to the rails the panels sit on. I'm then going to connect up the green lead into earth, and as you can see what I've done is I've put a crocodile clip here onto the main earthing system on the system. Then I've got my positive and negative, so my red goes into positive and my black goes into negative. And for safety reasons, what I've done is we've actually got some flying MC4 leads out of our isolator. Obviously as a contractor you would go into with a probe into the positive and negative, but we've done it this way. So plug in our positive and negative to the array, so that's connected. If you want to turn off the continuity, so if you haven't bonded your rails, if you go down to the bottom there where RP limit is and just push it to the left, it's turned off, and then we'd save it. That would basically take off the continuity test. But we've bonded our rails here, so I need to make sure that that is turned on. And that's the lead configuration, getting ready to do an IVCK test using the PVCHECKS Pro. So now we're on section 6, and this is actually conducting the IVCK test. So we're going to do 2 IVCK tests. We're going to do one as if we'd had optimizers on the system, so we're going to turn off the insulation test. And as you probably can see from other sections, you can see here that the insulation test is turned off. So we're imagining we've got optimizers on the system. So we're going to conduct the IVCK test. So the VOC and ISC are all okay. The continuity at 0.07, and obviously it didn't conduct the insulation test, so we know that that system is all okay and doing what it should do. We escape out of that, go back in. We're now going to go down to insulation test, and we're going to do a 500 volt insulation test. We save it, and then now conduct the IVCK test, conducting an insulation test, as if there was no optimizers on the system. So again, as VOC and IC have come in straight away, all good. Now it's doing the insulation test. It takes a little while because it's actually testing the positive and the negative and the earth all in one. And there you go, the insulation test is done. Everything's okay, so the system's doing what it should do. If I want to save that result, I hit the save button. Obviously it counts up automatically, so that's the 7th measurement I've done with the tester. You've got different departments, obviously with different strings, different modules, then you can actually go down to the comment section at below there, and you can actually put in a comment as well. And then all we need to do is save it, data saved, and that's in the tester now for a bit of download with the software that comes with it at a later date.
So first of all, we need to put it into PC instrument connection mode, which from the main menu, you just press the up arrow key. It'll then you can then select the data transfer section by pressing the enter button. From there, it'll say that it's in PC connection mode. Now, we need to connect the optical adapter to your USB lead that is provided with the instrument. And it connects on the right hand side of the instrument, like so. From there, you need to open the top view software, which you can see. Right, once you've got the instrument in PC connection mode, you then open top view and select the PC instrument connection function, which is here. From there, it will prompt you to select the instrument that you want to connect to. So we'll select the PVCHECKS Pro within the list here. From there, you just select the COM port the instrument is connected to. In this instance, it's COM4. However, if you needed to find out which COM port the instrument was connected to, you would open up Device Manager, like so, and go down to the Ports, COM and LPT section. From there, it'll tell you exactly which USB serial port the instrument is connected to. In this instance, it is COM4 that you would then select the Find the Instrument section here. It will prompt you to make sure the instrument is in PC connection mode or RS-232 mode. Just select OK. From there, it will ask you, do you want to then add the instrument to the instrument list? As you do, you just press yes. From there, you can then select the PVCHECKS Pro from the instrument connected list that has been previously connected on the left-hand side here. And then select the download data section from the command structure here. Press the next section. It will then bring up all the data that is stored within the instrument. You can either select all measurements, or in this case, we just want the last known or stored data, which would be number 5 there, test number 5. You then select download, and from there, you can see all your measurements that you have performed whilst on site. The software does default to intermediate selection of the test data. However, if you wanted to include the irradiance measurements, you would either select detailed or complete section, and as you can see, it will give you your irradiance measurements there as well. From there, you can then export via PDF or Excel. In this instance, we'll just export it to Excel. It'll ask you to obviously put a file name for the test results. In this instance, we'll just use test. And as you can see, it will then export all the data downloaded from the instrument to Excel. You can then copy and paste this into your relevant software you would use, or reporting structure that you would use. Thank you very much.